Okay, so you're here because you want to get smarter faster. We totally get that.
Yeah, time's valuable.
Exactly. So let's just cut to the chase. Today, we're diving into something that trips up a lot of English learners.
Mm-hmm. That speaking hurdle.
Right. You might know the vocabulary, maybe you've even got the grammar rules down pat, but
Yeah.
when you actually try to speak,
It's like hitting a wall sometimes.
Yeah.
The words just stall.
yeah, a total traffic jam in your head. Nothing comes out smoothly. It's super frustrating.
It really is, isn't it? You've put in the work, you can read, you understand, but that effortless conversation feels just out of reach.
It's like knowing all the ingredients but not being able to cook without constantly checking the recipe, maybe.
That's a great analogy, yeah. Cooking on the fly versus following step by step.
So to help unpack this, we've been listening to an episode from the Fluent Vibes with SK podcast.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Think in English, Speak in English, Your Fluency Breakthrough.
Catchy title.
And the main point SK makes is that for a lot of learners, the real issue isn't not knowing enough English.
Right.
It's that habit of thinking everything in their native language first and then translating it.
Which, as SK points out, just acts like a massive speed bump, right?
Totally.
Your brain's doing this extra step, this translation detour.
Which naturally just slows you right down, makes speaking feel like hard work.
Way more effortful than it needs to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the whole point of that Fluent Vibes episode and what we're focusing on today is digging into some practical ways to actually start thinking directly in English.
Building that new habit.
Yeah, cutting out the middleman, the translation step to hopefully unlock that fluency.
Makes sense. So where do we start? How do you even begin to, rewire your brain for this?
Well, the first tip from Fluent Vibes is actually surprisingly simple. It's about mentally narrating your day in English.
Okay. Mentally narrating. So not talking to yourself out loud on the bus.
Uh-huh. No, probably not. It's more of an internal thing.
Right, inside your head.
Yeah. The idea is to start describing, just mundane stuff, what you're doing, what you're thinking, but using English words internally.
Okay, like what sort of things?
The podcast gives examples like, okay, I'm brushing my teeth now, or the water feels cold. Maybe I need to make coffee.
Ah, I see. Really basic, everyday actions and thoughts.
Exactly.
Right.
Stuff you'd normally process automatically in your native language.
And the key is that it's silent, right? Just in your mind.
Yeah, that seems to be the emphasis.
Yeah.
No pressure to say it perfectly out loud, especially at first. It feels like a really low-stakes way to begin.
I can see that. So why does this silent narration actually help? What's the mechanism there?
Well, the thinking is it starts building that direct bridge, between the experience itself and the English word for it.
Ah, skipping the native language detour.
Exactly. You're linking the action brushing teeth directly with I'm brushing my teeth. Repeat that enough times.
And you start building new pathways in the brain, so it becomes more automatic to reach for the English.
That's the idea, like having this little English commentary running in the background.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the next practical tip from the source?
The next one is very visual, tangible. It's using sticky notes.
Sticky notes, okay.
Labeling things around your house with their English names.
Oh, well, I like that. Simple but clever. So you walk past the mirror.
And you see a note that says mirror.
You open the fridge.
And there's a label. Fridge. The podcast mentions fan, too. Just common household objects.
Right. And the power there is the directness, isn't it?
Exactly. You see the object, you see the English word simultaneously.
So you're not thinking, oh, what's the word for that in English? You're just seeing mirror.
It bypasses that translation step again. It's immediate association in context.
It's like turning your own home into a mini immersion zone.
Yeah, exactly. And seeing those labels over and over.
That repetition must really drill the vocabulary in.
Absolutely. It's like spaced repetition, basically. Seeing it repeatedly over time strengthens that link in your memory. Every time you see the fridge label on the fridge.
Your brain reinforces fridge means that thing.
Precisely.
Okay, so we've got internal narration and we've got labeling our physical world. What's strategy number 3 from Fluent Vibes?
The third one is about engaging actively with English media. So movies, shows, YouTube, podcasts, like Fluent Vibes itself.
Okay, but lots of learners already do that. What's the specific technique here?
The key word is actively. It's not just passive listening or watching.
Ah, so not just having Netflix on in the background.
No, the podcast suggests actually pausing the content
Okay.
and then repeating the sentences you just heard out loud.
Oh, interesting. Repeating them.
Yeah, and trying to mimic the pronunciation, the rhythm, the intonation, everything.
Wow, okay. That's much more involved than just watching. It's like practice.
It is. And the benefit is you start to internalize the natural flow of spoken English.
The music of the language, almost.
Exactly. How sentences are naturally constructed, how native speakers actually sound. The podcast even calls it a kind of acting.
Acting, I like that, like trying on the language.
Yeah, it lets you experiment without the pressure of a real conversation. Builds comfort with just making the sounds.
And I bet that acting helps with confidence too, right? If you get used to saying the phrases, even just copying.
You'll likely feel less shy about trying to use them yourself later on.
Yeah, it makes total sense. It's building the mechanics and the mindset.
Right. Both are crucial for fluency.
Okay, moving on. Something I know holds back so many learners. The fear. The fear of making mistakes. How does Fluent Vibes tackle that?
Oh, yeah, that's a big one. The podcast is really direct about this. SK emphasizes that fluency isn't about being perfect.
Thank goodness.
Right. It's about communication. Can you get your ideas across? That's the main goal, even with a few bumps along the road.
That's such a crucial distinction. Because that perfectionism trap, it's paralyzing. You're so scared of messing up, you just glam up.
Exactly. And the podcast uses a great analogy how we learned our first language.
Yeah.
Think about it. As toddlers, we made endless mistakes. Weird grammar, wrong words, mispronunciations.
Oh, constantly. But we still got fluent eventually.
Precisely. Mistakes weren't roadblocks, they were stepping stones. They're essential.
So it's about reframing errors, seeing them not as a failure, but as, like, data points, feedback.
Yeah, exactly. Feedback for improvement. The podcast is be kind to yourself, Laugh it off sometimes, just keep going.
That positive attitude seems key. Don't beat yourself up.
Absolutely. Resilience is huge in language learning.
Okay, so narrate internally, label externally, watch and repeat actively, and embrace mistakes.
Got it.
What's the fifth and final tip from the episode?
The last one involves your digital world, specifically changing the language settings on your phone to English.
Ooh, that's a simple switch, but I guess we use our phones constantly.
All the time. Think about it. Every notification, every menu, every app name, it all becomes English.
Another little dose of immersion just baked into your day.
Exactly. And the podcast suggests extending this too, like do your Google searches in English.
Ah, interesting. Instead of searching in your native language about an English topic.
Right. Just try to stay in English mode, as they put it, even online.
It's about creating this constant sort of passive exposure. Your brain just keeps seeing and using English without you actively sitting down to study.
Precisely. Using the tech you already have to just surround yourself with the language more.
Okay, let's quickly recap those 5 then. We had mentally narrate your day.
Label your world with sticky notes.
Watch and repeat English content.
Embrace mistakes.
And immerse your digital life, like your phone settings and searches.
Got it. And the big message tying all these together.
It seems to be that you don't need to move to London or New York to think in English.
Right. You can create that environment right where you are.
Around you, yes, but maybe more importantly, inside your head, cultivating that English thinking mindset.
Gradually shifting that internal voice.
Little by little.
Yeah.
Now, Fluent Vibes also talked about fluency as a habit, right? Not just a destination.
Yes, exactly. SK makes the point that fluency isn't some magic talent you're born with.
Phew.
Haha, yeah. It's a skill you build, like any habit, through consistent practice.
I find that really empowering, actually. It means it's achievable, it's down to effort, not luck.
Totally. It puts the control back with the learner, and the podcast stresses that even small amounts of daily practice add up.
Like you don't need hours every day.
Apparently not. Just say 10 focused minutes a day, consciously trying one of these techniques.
Can make a real difference over time.
That's the message. Consistency beats intensity sometimes.
So for everyone listening to this deep dive,
Yeah.
the takeaway seems to be start small, be consistent, don't let fear stop you, and you can build this English thinking habit.
Absolutely. And Fluent Vibes actually throws down a challenge, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. What's the challenge?
SK encourages listeners to just pick one of these 5 tips that sounds good to them.
Just one to start.
Yeah, just pick one and actually try it. Put it into practice in your daily routine. See what happens.
I like that. Make it manageable. And isn't there a way to share the experience too?
There is. The podcast mentions messaging at Fluent with SK on Instagram.
Ah, to share which technique you tried and how it's going?
Yeah, kind of like accountability and maybe connecting with others doing the same thing. Could be motivating.
Definitely. So a clear call to action for our listeners. Pick a strategy, give it a go, maybe even share how you're doing. It's about taking that first step towards the fluency breakthrough they talk about.
And what this whole deep dive really shows, I think, is that moving away from constant translation and into thinking directly in English, it's doable.
Yeah, it's not magic.
No, it's practical steps. It's not about a sudden switch, but these small, consistent actions that gradually rewire things.
Slowly building that new mental pathway. One thought, one sticky note, one repeated phrase at a time.
Well said.
Well, thanks for joining us on this exploration of the Fluent Vibes with SK episode.
My pleasure. Hopefully these ideas offer some real, actionable things listeners can try.
Yeah, practical strategies to really start thinking in English and, boost that fluency journey.
Absolutely.
And just remember, you really do have the power to improve. It happens one thought, one word, one sentence at a time. So keep trying these techniques. Be patient with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And enjoy the process of unlocking that fluent English speaker inside you.